Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Big Night In, presented by Scotiabank. Proceeds from tonight's event will benefit Big Brothers Big Sisters of Toronto and their mission to provide life-changing mentorship for children and youth in Toronto. Please welcome your host, Christine Simpson.
Good evening and welcome to Big Night In, presented by Scotiabank. I'm Christine Simpson and I am so pleased to be your host this evening. On behalf of Big Brothers Big Sisters of Toronto, their board of directors, their volunteers, and the young people they serve, I would like to say thank you for your support this evening. We all know it has certainly been a challenging year for all, and Big Brothers Big Sisters of Toronto is staying true to their mission of igniting potential in children and youth more than ever. If anything, this past year has further highlighted just how essential the power of mentorship is. Now, before we kick things off, we do have a few housekeeping notes for you. So following the show, you'll be able to enjoy some delicious food and drinks provided by our friends at The Keg. And I'd like to acknowledge and thank our dinner sponsor this evening, Cadillac Fairview. You'll find all the preparation videos and instructions on the Big Night In event website or in your email. Now, we also have an exciting online auction sponsored by Canadian Tire that is currently live. To participate in tonight's online auction, please visit bni.givesmart.com or click on the auction link on the Big Night In website. We have some pretty exciting items up for grabs, including an IQ Slim foldable treadmill, exclusive dining experiences, tickets to see your favorite Toronto teams, and beautiful all-inclusive getaway for two to the Windjammer Landing Villa Beach Resort in beautiful St. Lucia. Doesn't that sound amazing? The auction will close tomorrow at 5 p.m., so be sure to bid generously and often because you don't want to miss out on these incredible items. Well, since we were unable to come together last year, we want to kick things off by honoring the amazing work of one of Big Brothers Big Sisters of Toronto's 2019 Bigs of the Year, Luis Cabrera. Take a look at the inspiring story of Luis and Gabriel.
It was tough because I would see a lot of kids like hitting it off with their dads. They're mentioning like, you know, my dad this, my dad that, them getting picked up. And it was a little hard for me because I wanted that experience.
Oh, it was such a dark time at that time. I was really scared for my son. I wish I could give him the father he wanted. I couldn't control that. It broke my heart.
The first meeting was pretty amazing. Instantly we hit it off, and Gabriel loves to chat, so at first I was also kind of nervous as well, but the fact that he was so chatty and so excited, and he's like, "You're gonna be my big brother, aren't you?"
I mean, I remember the first time we hung out, we went to a Blue Jays game, and I remember we left early because I was complaining about the weather, how it was too hot. So then we went into IKEA and we saw a bunch of stoves, so we were just pretending like we were time traveling. I mean, when I was little, when I first met him, me and Luis used to always talk about we're gonna be with each other forever. So that to me that meant he's never gonna leave me.
Yeah, he believed.
Even now, we still always talk about we're never gonna leave each other, no matter how old we are, no matter what happens. He's so nice to me. He's not afraid to tell me if I'm doing something bad or not.
That's
what I really like. Yeah.
Our relationship, Gabriel and I's relationship, will never, it'd be like going up to my sister and saying, "Hey, you know what, that was fun, but let's end it here and move on with our lives." So yeah, we'll be friends forever.
What an inspiring story from Luis and Gabriel. And while special indeed, reflective of so many incredible relationships built through Big Brothers Big Sisters of Toronto, it reminds us all of just why we're here tonight and the important cause we're supporting. Well, we'd like to take a moment to thank our generous sponsors who've made tonight's event possible. First, to our presenting sponsor, Scotiabank, our dinner sponsor, Cadillac Fairview, our cocktail sponsor, King Set Capital, our match sponsor, Ernst & Young, our auction sponsor, Canadian Tire, our wine sponsor, Starlight Investments, entertainment sponsor, Slate Music, and last but certainly not least, we would like to thank our amazing media sponsor, Rogers Sports and Media. Well, tonight's event would not be possible without their continued support, so thank you so much. We have the support of many great organizations and individuals this evening. I'd now like to introduce Sandra Odendahl, representing tonight's presenting sponsor, Scotiabank, and our Mayor of Toronto, John Tory.
Hi everyone, my name is Sandra Odendahl and I'm the Vice President of Social Impact and Sustainability at Scotiabank. At Scotiabank, we recognize the value of a mentor. Whether it's contributing to positive mental health or helping youth to succeed in their education and employment endeavors, the benefits of mentorship can stay with someone their entire life. Our investment in Big Brothers Big Sisters of Toronto is part of Scotia Rise, the bank's 10-year, $500 million initiative to promote economic resilience. Through Scotia Rise, we're supporting programs and partnering with organizations across our footprint that provide the tools that people need to improve their education and employment prospects, adapt to changing circumstances, and increase their likelihood of financial success. We are proud to continue our support of Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Toronto and the work that they do to support so many. Thank you all for taking part in this year's virtual Big Night In. Now, let's have some fun.
Hello, Mayor John Tory here, extending my warmest greetings to all of the attendees at this evening's Big Night In event. We're soon going to be having big nights out, I hope once again soon, but we've got a Big Night In event, and I want to offer my thanks to Big Brothers Big Sisters of Toronto for gathering us all together virtually, carrying on with this event in support of youth across our city. It's so important, notwithstanding the pandemic, to keep on with this work. Toronto's kids now more than ever need caring adults. They need role models. They need support systems. And Big Brothers Big Sisters does just that, serving as it has for so long as a trusted, guiding and helping hand to kids who faced unprecedented adversity, especially through the pandemic times. We know that the mental health of young people has been compromised, as many have struggled to navigate and to cope through these unprecedented and challenging times. And what they're yearning for, what we're all yearning for, we all know this, is connection, togetherness, community. And with a big in their life, littles find an antidote to many of their challenges, someone they can rely on, someone in their corner to help them and to guide them through the challenges of today and the legacy of troubles that will extend well beyond the pandemic. So for that, I want to express my unending gratitude to all the volunteer bigs who've selflessly given of their time and services to support our city's most vulnerable kids. This year has proven the invaluable role that you all play. Other years have too, but this year I think it's really been proven, very much clearly to all of us. And it's also been proven the need for your service far beyond the pandemic as we work to rebuild the city and to strengthen our communities in the wake of what we've just been through. To ensure that our kids come out on the other side with the tools and with the opportunities and with the supports that they need to reach their full potential and make the valued contributions we know they can make. And you know what? This won't serve our youth only, but will reinforce the strength of our city as a whole. Every child supported. And by doing that, we're investing in Toronto's future at large. And to all the supporters this evening, the people who have donated, your support for this organization will help kids benefit from more caring adults in their lives. And we know that is pivotal to their safe passage through childhood. So with that, I wish you all a wonderful evening. I look forward to the day very soon, with the hope of the vaccine, that we can reunite in person. And I can't say it enough. Thank you for all that you do, and have a great evening.
Thank you, Sandra and John. Now, your continued support of Big Brothers Big Sisters of Toronto and events like Big Night In help to support life-changing relationships that empower children and youth in Toronto to thrive. In fact, young people who participate in mentoring programs see positive results in mental health, employment, and civic engagements, results that truly have an impact over the course of a young person's future potential. I would now like to introduce you to Mike and Isaac. Now, these two were matched more than 10 years ago when Isaac was only 9. Their story is a true example of how a mentoring relationship supports, encourages, and ignites potential. And to help us with this, I would like to pass it over to my dear friend, Mr. Leo Routens.
Mike and Isaac have had a 10-year exemplary relationship of big brother and big sisters of Toronto. You look at their relationship, which is now a lifelong relationship, and it just shows you exactly how important and what this means to all the young people out there. So I want to have an opportunity right now to talk to both of them. And Mike, I'm going to start with you. What has this meant to you? How did you get involved with Big Brothers of Toronto?
Well, it's been a phenomenal experience. I mean, I started just as a young guy in my early 20s, spending a lot of time with sports and friends and work. I wanted to get involved with an organization that gave back to my community. I mean, I was lucky enough to have an older brother and other mentors in my life growing up that have helped me and supported me at all my stages. And I just wanted to give that feeling back in a way and work with an organization that believed in that power of mentoring.
That's amazing. Isaac, what was it like for you? What was your first impression when you had an opportunity to meet Mike?
I was nervous, excited. For the first time I met him, I got to play basketball, and that really took away all the pressure and nerves, and we just had fun.
Well, no surprise, Isaac. I know you're a good basketball player. And Mike, how about you? Did you feel the pressure like you had to bring your A game in that first meeting?
Yeah, I mean, there were some nerves going in, but honestly, it was very natural. It was awesome to meet Isaac. Isaac was an inspirational kid from day one, and building a relationship with Isaac has been one of the best things in my life.
Mike, tell me, what do you think has been the success, the keys to your relationship for lasting this long?
I think just spending time together and building a bond, slowly over time. It's just grown into a brotherhood where we care about each other. And, once we reached that point, it was just natural.
And Isaac, how about you? What exactly has Mike's friendship meant to you?
He's such a big role model in my life, and it's the little things he does. He just has silent acts of kindness. It's just he makes people a better person without even trying.
That's wonderful to hear. Mike, how different will your life be right now if you've never met Isaac?
I'd be missing a little brother. I mean, Isaac is family to me. I'd be missing the experience and relationship of the entire organization of Big Brothers.
For me, it means everything, right? I grew up without a father, and Mike's just filled that role ever since, and he forever will.
Well, we've touched on the basketball part of it, and so I just want to maybe expand on that a little bit. How important was sports in the relationship with both of you? Start with you, Mike.
Yeah, it was, our shared interests coming into the relationship, so we were able to spend a lot of time together playing sports, and that was huge. I mean, some of my favorite moments with Isaac have been either playing sports or watching him play sports. And, being able to go to his games and be the one to talk to him after those games, after his performance, has been some of the proudest moments of my life. So grateful I was able to be his big brother and selected through the organization and matched with him.
Mike has always been a big help to my sports teams, and he would always, no matter how busy he was, he would always end up finding a way to make it. He was at, I can't even remember a game that he wasn't at, unless it was in the States, but Mike was at mostly all of my games, and he's the kind of guy where it could be at halftime where he'd come and he'd talk to me, he'd talk to the team. He wasn't just a watcher, he's interactive. He wants to help, and you can tell he really enjoys it. And that makes me happy, having someone else in the fans that cares and that shows support and helps me off the court as well. He cared about my passion, and it really shows.
Well, I tell you what, just listening to both of you makes me happy. And I really appreciate Mike and Isaac sharing your experience, sharing your relationship, and what Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Toronto meant to you, means to you, and will continue to mean to you as your relationship flourish. You truly are exemplary of what this program is all about.
Thank you, Leo.
Thank you,
It means a lot
Leo.
coming from you.
Thank you, Leo, Mike, and Isaac, for sharing your incredible story. You know, it's wonderful to see the long-lasting impact of the program and how these relationships help shape the lives of both the big and little. Now, don't forget, another great way to support Big Brothers Big Sisters of Toronto is to bid on the items in our online auction sponsored by Canadian Tire. To place your bids, please visit bni.givesmart.com or click on the auction link on the Big Night In website. The auction will remain open until 5 p.m. tomorrow. It is now my absolute pleasure to introduce the President and CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters of Toronto, Leanne Nicole. Leanne, it is so great to see you. I was thinking it was 2018 that you asked me to host the Big Night Out event. A little bit different, but the message is certainly still as important today. I want to start just by asking you, what has the past year looked like for Big Brothers Big Sisters of Toronto?
Well, certainly a lot has happened since 2019, Chris, but the past year has been incredibly, I would say, enlightening for me personally, but for our organization. We've had an increase of about 33% of demands for littles and families coming for our intervention. Well, with that increased demand and not being able to be in person, we quickly had to switch to a virtual format, especially at the beginning. And I'm really grateful for Rogers because they stepped up and gave the littles that didn't have devices or access to the internet, those devices and access. So we were able to pick up very, very quickly on our virtual format. We actually introduced more than 400 bigs and littles over the last year. And that's a pretty big feat because even though we're not pandemic proof, I would say that it proves we're pandemic resistant. We have this very unique window into the lives of these children and their families. And because we don't rely on bricks and mortar, we rely on individuals caring for children outside, I would say, of normal bricks and mortar gyms and community centers. Mm-hmm. We are very, very fortunate to be able to continue our programming. And our investors were very flexible. Our donors said, do what you need to do in order to make sure that these kids aren't isolated, that they have what they need, and that's been fantastic.
Amazing how many people stepped up. I want to ask you, why is having an adult mentor so important, especially during this pandemic?
Yeah, well, one of the biggest and most alarming stats is 70% of kids and children in Toronto, when surveyed, said that their mental health had deteriorated significantly. And we know having a mentor helps that because you have someone in your corner, someone to reach out to, maybe a simple text, hey, how are you doing? Or I'm in trouble, or I'm struggling with math, or I'm struggling with online learning. And having that mentor in your corner really, really significantly reduces the impact of those mental health deteriorations like anxiety and depression. The amazing thing is, our littles say, some of my happiest times have been with my big during the pandemic. But equally as beautiful is our bigs report that their happiest times are when they're with their little. So it really is a win-win because our bigs have purpose and our littles have someone to call on.
I mean, it really is all about the connection, that's for sure. So how would you say Big Brothers Big Sisters will help Toronto recover from this pandemic?
This city is going to require some significant change to recover from the pandemic, especially for our children and youth. And we know that having more positive, caring adults in the lives of children will significantly reduce the harmful effects, both physical and mental health effects, of having adversity. Mm-hmm. And so there's about 42,000 kids in Toronto right now who would qualify for a big brother or big sister. 42,000. We are aiming to double the number of children we serve by 2023. And we know that's going to have an amazing impact on the recovery of these communities. We are calling on volunteers with a diversity and inclusion lens to everything we do. We're going into community to make sure volunteers are able and willing to step up for these kids. Because what we know is when a child has faced significant adversity, they need positive, caring adults in their life in order to recover and to thrive. We don't want these kids' potential to go unmarked. We want them to thrive. They can't do it alone. Yeah. So we need big brothers and big sisters to step up.
And how is it events like this, Big Night In, how are they so important to Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Toronto?
The biggest challenge that we've had over the last year, of course, is funding. So we've had about a 25% reduction in funding, which honestly is so difficult to run an organization with less when you have increased demand. So I am so grateful for our partners, our title sponsor, Scotiabank, Rogers, Canadian Tire, E&Y, all of the sponsors have stepped up and said, no, we're here for you. And those that are watching and are attending, they're learning that investing in prevention has significant positive impact long term. So we're really grateful to be able to host this here today, to have your meal with us and to learn about what the impact of Big Brothers Big Sisters are, not just on kids of today, but the impact of the future. Without a big, life loses its potential, and we don't want any more kids than need be lose their potential because of this pandemic.
Well, thank you for sharing what is such an important message, and keep doing the amazing work that you're doing, Leanne.
Thank you, Chris, for everything you're doing for us too. Your support is invaluable. Thank you.
Well, we've heard some great stories so far tonight, but as I previously mentioned, tonight would not be possible without the support of Rogers Sports and Media. We'd like to take a moment to recognize Rogers Sports and Media for their support and highlight the great work they're doing with their All In campaign. Now, Big Brothers Big Sisters of Toronto is receiving free advertising and creative services thanks to Rogers Sports and Media. The All In campaign helps charities and small businesses all across Canada who support equity-seeking communities. And as a member of the Rogers Sports and Media family, I can just say I am extremely proud of everything our company is doing to create moments like this. Bigs and Littles continue to connect this year virtually. In fact, since March of 2020, over 400 littles were matched completely online. In fact, some still have not even met their big in person. Big Brothers Big Sisters of Toronto recognized just how integral it was for children and youth facing adversity to still have connection to a caring and consistent adult, even if that connection was only online. Up next, I would like to introduce you to our 2020 Big Sister and Big Brother of the Year. These remarkable bigs found very meaningful ways to connect and engage with littles, even in a virtual world. Their commitment to mentorship during COVID-19 is truly inspirational. And for this, we'd like to recognize them and share their stories. It is my pleasure to introduce you to Alicia and Tamaya and Rootwidge and Ethan.
I have been a filmmaker for 5 years. It's been really important for me to find other Black creators because it can be very isolating when you're the only one in the room, and that definitely ties into why I wanted to become a mentor. I didn't really have a lot of Black role models in my life.
When we moved out here from the East Coast, we didn't have a lot of support, so I remember having a big sister. When I was little, I grew up on the East Coast, there wasn't a lot of people who looked like me. So even though we moved here and there was people that looked like her, I wanted somebody who she could share interests with, see them as a positive role model, maybe do something that she never thought of, or, encourage her to do what she already loves. I just wanted her to see that in a different light from another Black woman.
The first thing that we did together was virtual online conversations, and pretty much we got into a routine of drawing something together. And then the first time that we actually got to meet was we went to see, Tamara, do you remember?
The SpongeBob movie.
And then what did we do before the SpongeBob movie? Do you remember?
We got bubble tea.
And that was really fun because wasn't that the first time that you had tried it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually remember your face when you first slurped the bubbles and you were like,
how was it?
It was good. It's really fast.
So Tamaya, what I really noticed about you at first is that you are so empathetic, and that's definitely one of my favorite things about you. And then the obvious thing is that you are a very gifted artist.
You'll always be like, oh wow, that's amazing, but you just gotta keep going. When you tell me to not give up, but it's just really good, it makes me more confident about the drawing.
I'm really glad that I got to have a new friend in this time and that we've gotten to become close. And many of the things that Tamari and I have done together have been interesting new things for me. Like when we went skateboarding together, that was a really fun thing that I probably wouldn't have tried otherwise.
It's really cool having someone have the same interests as you. Since I can't really talk to people that much, it would be fun without you.
I am a tech entrepreneur. I have my own agricultural technology company that I've been working on for about 3 years at the moment. I think last 6 to 8 months, one of my weekly activity also involves talking to Ethan and hanging out with him. First time when we met, it was with Emily and Kathy, Ethan's mom, and like the four of us. And like Kathy kept saying that Ethan is a shy child and he doesn't talk to strangers much.
I was very quiet, I can tell you that, and I did not know how to pronounce his name at first. Those are the two things I really remember.
He made a really like funny joke that nobody heard, but I somehow noticed it and like I had a bit of a chuckle. So I think that from that point on, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that's somebody that I can hang out with. That's somebody I can make friends with very easily. The first thing we started off with was playing chess, because I've been kind of obsessed with chess lately. We're working on his homework, some of the things that he was doing with computer class at school. We were doing some editing for a story that Ethan is writing.
It has a lot of different elements, which I like. Like you've done a good job with the artwork in this one.
Well, you helped me a lot with editing and just preparing work or just schoolwork or personal work as well. It's really helpful and it's really fun just talking about what characters could mean and what they represent in a story.
What is your favorite thing about our friendship?
Being able to talk to someone that's not in my family. That's really the main thing. Talking to you, it just may be able to talk more, and I would probably normally would.
I used to think that the word gratitude is only for the life coaches and the influencers on Instagram, but I think I still learned about it, and Ethan had a very, very large hand in getting me there. I didn't have a perspective from a younger person, to be very honest. Having that perspective is always a very refreshing thing to have in your life.
And I felt kind of odd because I don't really meet adults that have partly the same interests at me. It was weird, but kind of nice in a way.
Two impactful stories from Alicia and Tamaya and Rootwidge and Ethan. These are the meaningful relationships that your generosity tonight is supporting. Big Brothers Big Sisters of Toronto wants to create more relationships like those highlighted this evening. The agency has already experienced a 33% increase in demand for services during the pandemic and expect this to continue to rise. But mentorship through a strong supportive relationship like those of Luis, Mike, Alicia, and Rootwidge are the antidote to the isolation that so many young people are facing right now. At Big Brothers Big Sisters of Toronto, the relationship between a big and a little is known as a match, and tonight you can help them get one step closer to their goal of doubling their impact and serving more than 4,000 young people in Toronto. Now, to participate in tonight's match program, please visit bni.givesmart.com, or you can click on the auction link on the Big Night In website. All donations this evening are eligible for a full tax receipt, and if you would like to support a full 3-year lifetime match, we encourage you to consider making a $7,500 donation. Those 3 years ensures each match is set up for a lifetime of success. Now, a $5,000 donation will support 2 full years of a match, and a $2,500 donation will support 1 full year of a match. All donations will help bring littles off the current wait list. And this just in, I would like to recognize and thank Stephen and Jennifer McDonald for their absolutely generous donation of $17,500 towards our match program. That is absolutely incredible. Thanks to them. So this will just help provide more funding for more than 2 full lifetime matches. On behalf of everyone joining us tonight, thank you. And I would like to thank our generous match sponsor this evening, Ernst & Young, for your continued support of Big Brothers Big Sisters of Toronto. Now, our final segment for the evening, thanks to our entertainment sponsor, Slate Music, is a musical performance by Kayla Diamond performing her original song, What You're Made Of.
Hey Big Night In, my name's Kayla Diamond and I'm so stoked to be here in honor of Big Brothers Big Sisters Toronto. This is really an awesome night and I'm so thankful for everybody who's watching tonight. I have put together a little performance of my song, What You're Made Of. It's all about being bold, being unapologetic about who you are and showing the world what you're made of. Here it is. These days seems like you're not the same, and I just wanna know what I can do to make that change. And I hate seeing you this way. We used to laugh about life and you would show me the moon. Say, baby girl, you'll be successful in whatever you do. And I still think about that today. Life's too short not to fill it with love. Don't you wait for this moment to pass us. Remember when you said to me, show them what you're made of, 'cause I raised you so tough. You were meant to be someone they won't always show love, but I raised you so tough. You ain't never gonna give up. Your little girl will always be the same. I still have your eyes and I will carry your name. And you are always on my mind. But time moves on and we move with it too. And daddy, life gets in the way, but there's not much we can do. I know you're worried, but I'll be fine. Life's too short not to fill it with love. Don't you wait for this moment to pass us. Remember when you said to me, show them what you're made of, 'cause I raised you so tough. You were meant to be someone they won't always show love, but I raised you so tough. You ain't never gonna give up. I wanna let you in as much as I can, but I'm afraid that if you saw me, you'd let go of my hand. So now I'm coming to you, daddy, with my heart on my sleeve. Will you stand by me or just get up and leave? Show them what you're made of, 'cause I raised you so tough. You were meant to be someone they won't always show love, but I raised you so tough. You ain't never gonna give up. Thank you again for having me. It's such an honor to be here. Sending lots of love. Mwah.
Wow, what an uplifting song. Big thank you to Kayla Diamond for that great performance of What You're Made Of. And you can check out that song and even more on Spotify. Well, now we've come to the end of our broadcast for this evening, but I wanted to take a moment to say a huge thank you to everyone who's taken part tonight. To all our sponsors, table purchasers, and auction donors, thank you for your continued support and generous contributions. You are helping to ignite potential in Toronto's children and youth facing adversity. But your evening doesn't end here. It's now time to turn the heat up in the kitchen and prepare your delicious meals provided by The Keg, thanks to our dinner sponsor, Cadillac Fairview. You will all learn how to cook the perfect steak from The Keg's own chef, Steve Lewis. And if you haven't already, enjoy the Big Night In signature cocktail in your experience kits, thanks to our cocktail sponsor, King Set Capital. Using the links in your email or on the event website, you can find videos to help you prepare each of these items to enjoy your meal in the best way possible. And don't forget, the online auction, sponsored by Canadian Tire, is open until 5 p.m. tomorrow. So visit and get those bids in. Every dollar counts and helps connect waiting littles to a caring and consistent adult. Well, thank you so much. We hope you enjoy the rest of your Big Night In, and we look forward to seeing you again next year, hopefully in person. Have a great night.